Hey everyone, welcome to Breakout Wednesday for the 11th of June, 2:25. It's currently about 6:30 p.m. on the West Coast, 8:30 p.m. on the East Coast. First of all, remember, this is no financial advice, not a financial advisor. This is simply a video blog on how one trader sees the market, and everyone needs to take responsibility for their own decisions, right? So, chart of the All Lords back near all-time highs, crazy V rally. Who would have thought? It's interesting. It's rallied straight up into this resistance, and I don't know. It stands to reason that it's going to just have a chill and struggle there for a little bit. Who the hell knows though in this market, right? Anything can happen. Could just blow through it and keep rallying, couldn't it? But 7 times out of 10, you get that, and it's gonna chop around for at least a little bit in base. So who knows though? Doesn't really change anything for me. It's just focusing on the trades and just letting them play out and just following my rules. The AII trade's still just going really well. Still above its 10 exponential moving average. Nothing for me to do other than wait. The PME trades I posted to the forum kind of got stopped out here as it closed below its 10 exponential moving average on the second lot of that. So, and then it's just going sideways. We'll see how that plays out. If this keeps basing sideways and starts setting up again here, if that's long enough, then 100% will re-enter. I much prefer just to keep re-entering the strongest names in the market and the leaders than to just be, why would I want to go and find somewhere for my money in some shit, weak stock instead of putting it where the big money is and the big money's flowing into and the big trends are and stuff, So watching that, but that is starting to actually look pretty bloody good, hey. Cup handle, you can call it. There's a bunch of cup and handles forming at the moment, so PME, don't take your eye off it. If you like expensive leaders, Dava style, the mat trade, like pretty illiquid, right? I only got filled in on a little bit of this, cancel the rest of it. So I got filled a little bit on this day and then plug the rest, and then bang, it's just kind of buggering around, isn't it? So we'll see how it unfolds. Nice setup, really nice ascending triangle. So just got to be patient. These things might take weeks and weeks to unfold. So there's no point in me looking in intraday data or, it's just going to make me anxious and do something stupid and like sell when I don't mean to. The spin-off of Webjet, right? Like Webjet, just so people get a bit confused. Like here's Web, W-E-B, the traditional Webjet chart says Web Travel Group Limited. Then they spun off part of their business, right? WJL, right? Webjet Group Limited, okay? Same, they obviously this used to be part of WEB, okay? So, and this stock has, big rally after the spin-off, dump, rally up, bang, sideways. And this sideways range is, to me, like perfect. I just take these things. I miss very few of these, right? Like it's my job, to not miss them, okay? And I really try and focus on not missing these, okay, because it's just such edge, and I'm just chilling out on it, okay. My stops are a decent whack away. Not going to really point out where it is, but you can either have a stop a few ticks below this breakout bar, or you can have it below a few ticks below this day here, or you can have it a few ticks below this day here. When I say a few ticks, it's just a few little ticks away so that you're not getting stopped out by a tiny little stop run. There's a bunch of places to have the stop, and it's up to you based on your risk management and what makes sense to you. But I'm in that, and we'll see how she goes. Still, like my biggest position is DDT. I just went hard on it and haven't trimmed. Doing well so far. Hey, just no like blowout massive big candles up, but just kind of trending up above that 10 exponential moving average. And let's just see how it goes. I'm just gonna be patient. Like if I get lucky, like I got lucky with PME here with this trade back here, right, that I was in, just kept trending, and that just weeks and weeks tick by, and before you knew it, like a small profit had grown into a really big profit. And so it's just like I find that the best traders, I'm not calling myself the best traders, but I find that the traders that make good money are the ones that have a trailing stop loss method, and they're not just grabbing money early for the sake of it and taking their profits off the table for the sake of it because they're scared that the stock's going to fall. It's just imagine if you can get the discipline and the patience to just let these things play out using a trailing stop loss method, that right there is probably the holy grail to making serious money. Just not many people can do it. Just try and do it. Like if you you just pick a stock, any stock, try and buy it on a break, just a nice, not any stock, a nice base like this, buy it on the break. Tell yourself, write down on your chart, I'm never going to sell it until it closes below the 10 exponential moving average, and just don't do it, and just see if you can actually do it, right? And it's a good test, and just keep training yourself to actually do that when real money's on the line. Okay, I'm actually still in LIN. It's just chopping about. I've got a tiny amount in it because I don't go big on these guys, so I'm just going to let it play out. I just think, I've got a smaller position. May as well be patient. See if we wake up one day and it just starts flinging up. And the only other one, GRMN, right? So I'm carrying a bit of a loss on LIN right now. It's the only one that's showing me a loss at this second, so that's cool. And then there's GRMN, right? Like nothing spectacular, just it's just started and it's just trickling up. So anyway, that's that. Let's just get to some new setups. Like on the US, there's only one I'm looking at right now, and it's Shop. And I've talked about Shop so much over the years. It's one of those ones, a bit like ResMed. I just talk about it too much. This is a cool post here. I forgot to reply, but anyway, some good people posting in the forum now. And Shop, I think it was Adam, right, that posted about Shop. Yeah, shit. I found it. Yeah, it was Adam that posted, and yeah, like I'm watching it too. Like it's in a Davis box. It's just technically great. I mean, just go back if you're new to this and you're practicing. Like, look at this channel here. I was talking about this back then. I traded it, and that is one of the nicest little channel breaks in a within a bigger uptrend that you're ever going to see. And now we're setting up here and just in kind of this Davis break, Davis box. Bit of overhead supply, but it's it's not that heavy. And yeah, Shopify is just one of those stocks that can just do anything it wants. It can just go so high and rally so hard. Anyway, Shop is on my radar, right? And then in terms of the America, like I did enter this other one last night that is a bit late for this talk, but it broke out yesterday. It's this pharmaceutical stock. I don't really try and stay away from the biotechs on the NASDAQ because they're so hard. I just couldn't help myself with that though. Yeah, it just looks so good. So I just took it. So I'm in that. And then I don't need any more setups right now. Like I've just got enough. I'm just looking at stuff that has potential, right? And this guy came up in the tiny little box, and just it's a copper stock. It's had this huge V rally, just like the All Lords, and now it's forming here. And this is not. I'm not talking about this because it's ready, okay? But I'm just saying that it's got potential, okay? Because we've got this cup and handle formation, right? With this tiny, tight little right-hand side. And for me, it's like, this is what it's all about. Like if you imagine if that base there for, say, another 3 to 4 days, and that's all it really needs. Imagine if it can just stay in that little box for 3 to 4 more days, okay? And then I get my little, let's just call it there, my little Davis box here drawn out, and I've got all-time highs, I've got blue sky, and I've got the opportunity to enter it with a stop here or here, wherever you want. And what my point is that the risk reward on that is insane. Okay, and that's what trading's all about. It's the same reason why I love, this setup, because look how tight this base is. It was the same reason why I talked about PME back here, right? Because this was so tight. Okay, and that's the whole reason why I love tight setups. Like AII, this is the reason I like this, because look how tight it is. Okay, you can get these really, really, really tight stop losses on, and you can have so much potential when you get it right to make 10 to 1, okay, when you get really lucky. 3 to 1, 4 to 1, 5 to 1 is common, but sometimes every now and then, a couple of times a year, you'll get like a 10 to 15 to 1. And if you let it run, and if you've got the discipline to let it run, that's how you just grow your bank big time. Okay, and so well, that's how I try and do it anyway. So FSR, to me, it's on the watch list, and it's just, let's see what happens, all right, over the next week. And likewise, like Tabcorp, like it's in an interesting spot because of what's been happening with Star and all that. And anyway, but Tab is sitting there, and it's in an uptrend, right? But this uptrend's not saturated. It's not an old uptrend, is it? Like it really only started its uptrend. Like its first high was, say here, and then grinded up. But its moving average really only started coming over and, here and then here. And if you look on a 5-year chart, I mean, and so this is in a Davis box now. It's just, I do like it. It's not as long term as I would like it. This is a cup and handle too, right? Cup, handle. And so, to be honest, I probably don't need TAH in my account because I've got enough stuff and I've got a lot in there that potentially moves a lot quicker, so, but it's interesting. I just think SIG, right? I've been reading about SIG. I've been listening to people talk about SIG in terms of a lot of people have been trading it, and I've been, and there's been a lot of insider dumping of SIG. So like not all, of the people who have owned shares in SIG Rages had shares placed in escrow. Like some of their shares were in escrow, but a lot weren't. And so there's been a lot of shareholders that, opened a, Chemist Warehouse shop a decade or two ago that have been allowed to sell like 50% of their holding. And so there's been a lot of insider dumping. And funds have been buying that mainly. And I just think that eventually a lot of that insider dumping is going to dry up, and things might change for SIG, and it will have some big runs. It's a matter of when, and just being patient. And so I'm just keeping an eye on it, right? I haven't made my mind up. I just think it's one of those stocks. It's frustrated people lately because it's had a few false starts since the reverse listing, and it's just had a few, it's pissing people off. And that's great because if it shakes people out and pisses them off, and then eventually it sets up for good, right? When all those pissed off, frustrated people have given up on it, and bang, that's the time to get into it and ride it. And so I'm not going to take my eye off that guy. And some posts in the forum about IGO. Let's just see, like there was some stuff going back ages on IGO. Where is it? Here. So, and yeah, like this talk of Frankie, and it's like, and so look, like I agree in the sense that this is like, ignore the moving averages. It's a bit like, when you're really getting in on that first high, you're always, the moving average is usually always like that. Okay, and my point of bringing that up is that these setups down here, the risk reward, especially when you're trading a long-term account, they're so good, but they're so hard to trade because they're usually so choppy. It's a bit like that AMLX position, right? That I've got in my long-term self-managed super fund. Look at all this overhead supply. Like this is going to be as choppy as hell and as boring as hell. And this is not for a trader. Like, I mean, you could trade it, but it's going to be so choppy and frustrating for most traders to just, be in this because of this overhead supplies and infrastructure stock. It's going to take forever. Like I do think there's a very good chance this thing's going to be a lot higher in 3 or 4 years from now. But it's going to be choppy and slow and boring, and most people are just going to lose their shit and sell it, right? And in many ways, like the IGO stuff, like because of that overhead supply, because that base isn't overly mature, I just think that it's going to be choppy. It's going to probably, be honest, most people probably won't be able to handle it, and they'll get out early and they'll stuff up the trade or the investment or whatever. But it is showing signs of bottoming, and I think it's interesting. But for me, if I was buying that on a break of here, I'd be, personally, I'd probably, put it in the self-managed super fund account, or if I was trading it, I would be very prepared for choppiness and for fake outs and for yeah, a little bit of pain. Okay, so that's why, like, if you want a smoother ride without this overhead supply and people dumping it and volatility, I think that for me, it's like it's all about blue sky. It's just about finding these stocks like people. Like, look at this trend here. This is shit. This is what it's all about, right? I mean, I was trading this back here. I was talking about it as well, right? And it's like it's just breaking out into blue sky, and it's as simple as that. Where do you want your money to be? In blue sky stuff, or in shit with all this overhead supply? And so I'm not saying that I don't put money in stuff with overhead supply sometimes, because I 100% do, but from a less hassle, make money quicker, cleaner, blah blah blah, then it's blue sky. It's all about blue sky. What else was there? There was like a little VCP happening on CPU that I think someone posted the forum too, that's been coming up in scans. And so look, ascending triangle here, like big rally, bang, retracement, rally, bang, retracement, rally, bang. Okay, so this is kind of the third touch, and ideally now we have 2 to 3 VCP days, right, where it just comes around here on tiny volume, very little price action, tightens up, and then that would be a pretty high edge setup. All right, that's it. Catch ya. Talk next week. Bye.